Welcome, everybody. You can feel free to make your to the chapel. Hello to everybody online. Hello, Mimi Goodwin, a LCSJ graduate of 2024. Wonderful to have you. President Marshall, wonderful to have you. Hello, Ken. And others as they enter in to the room. Thanks, everyone, so much for attending tonight. Congratulations, especially to our graduates. I wanted to start out by sharing. You're supposed to be paying attention now, Anne-Louise. I wanted to start with Anne-Louise's laughter, which I love. We need laughter. I wanted to start with a little bit about a song, actually, a little section from one of my favorite authors, who I highly recommend to you. His name's John Berger. He was a British kind of polymath. He did a famous documentary for the BBC called Ways of Seeing. And it's about kind of looking at art differently than what we may be accustomed to looking at art, in the ways that we might be accustomed to looking at art. And he's written this poem, or a kind of story about a song. It's called Some Notes About a Song. The reason I want to begin with singing and songs is because last year, when I welcomed our last cohort, and by the way, my name is Dr. Rai Sigalko. I'm the director of the Leadership Center for Social Justice, if I forgot to mention that. It was the day after some dear friends of mine, of ours, were deported, and they were deported in front of us, like we were with them. And and I came to this event to celebrate our cohort, and I was in two different places at once, or I didn't know where I was really. I was very and it's been a real difficult year for me personally, and I want to be honest about that with you. And so I've been kind of healing over the past year, and I've been healing alongside you, the students in this cohort. And part of what's been happening to me personally is that I've begun singing again. And I haven't, my mother says that I could sing before I could talk. And I was on stage a lot when I was a child. I would sing Go Tell It on the Mountain in front of, hundreds of people at churches and stuff, because my family, they were professional singers, and my grandfather was a professional singer and a choir director. And so it was an expectation that we would be singing. And I could do that. At some point in my life, though, I stopped singing. And I think that I thought, okay, I'd stop singing because I'm choosing my own path now, not one that was sort of determined for me, but I'm choosing my own path. What I didn't realize is that when you stop singing, that has a bigger effect on you than just the music part. You can't separate the singing, the song, from the body itself. And I began reflecting more about singing and songs, but especially singing because of its vulnerability. When we use, it's an instrument, we're using our own body as an instrument, right? And so there's a real vulnerability to singing, I think, than in other instruments. But through the singing, I guess I have been healing. And I've been finding that music has been really an important element to my own healing from this, what I've been referring to as a moral injury. Not just trauma, but like a real moral injury. And I do think songs have power, and they've had power in our movements. I just want to read this little passage from John Berger. He says, "A song, when being sung and played, acquires a body. And it does this by taking over and briefly possessing existent bodies. The body of the double bass standing vertical whilst it's being strummed. or the body of the mouth organ cupped in a pair of hands hovering and pecking like a bird before a mouth, or the torso of the drummer as he rolls. Again and again, it takes over the body of the singer. After a while, the body of the circle of listeners who, as they listen and gesture to the song, are remembering and foreseeing. A song, as distinct from the bodies it takes over, is unfixed in time and place. A song narrates a past experience. When it is being sung, it fills the present. Stories do the same. But songs have another dimension, which is uniquely theirs. A song, while filling the present, hopes to reach a listening ear in some future somewhere. Songs lean forward, further and further. Without the persistence of this hope, songs, I believe, would not exist. Songs lean forward. And I've been thinking about the power of song. I've been thinking about the power of our voices, of the body, of the human body, and our ability to create things. And I'm thinking about how this is more like creativity is more than just, we're talking about more than just art. We're talking about more than just whatever word that we apply to it, right? We're talking about a doorway to liberation, a doorway to personal freedom, a doorway to collective freedom. And also, we're talking about, I think, when we talk about songs, the power of community. I want to share a few words from the great civil rights leader, Fannie Lou Hamer, who loved to sing as well. And she spoke of singing this way. Singing is one of the main things that can keep us going. When you're in a brick cell, locked up and haven't done anything to anybody, but still you're locked up there, and sometimes words just begin to come to you and you begin to sing. Like one of my favorite songs, This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine. This same song goes back to the 5th chapter of Matthew, which is the Beatitudes of the Bible, when he says, a city that sets on a hill cannot be hid. Let your light shine so that men would see your good works and glorify the Father which is in heaven. I think singing is very important. Fannie Lou Hamer says, it brings out the soul. It brings out the soul. You know, they would sing in jail. And what is the power that allows somebody to sing in jail? What is that power? I think she teaches us of the importance of joining in that singing. And so I would like to invite us to do a little singing together, if that's okay. I suppose I can't talk about all this singing if I don't do some. So maybe we'll do this one that Fannie Lou Hamer did in that jailhouse, because I think we aspire to be present to that same spirit that was in that jailhouse. So, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I've got the light of freedom. I'm gonna let it shine. Come on now. I've got the light of freedom. I'm gonna let it shine. I've got the light of freedom. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. It's the power to break out of jail cells. It's the power of love. This year has reminded me again and again that despite the darkness that seems to surround us, that there is indeed life. And I see that in the ministries of all of you. And it's been such a pleasure working with you, alongside you, throughout the past 9 months. And I guess I just first of all want to then give you a hand. Can we give our graduates a hand? Congratulations. Each of you, through your courage, reflection, risk taking, through your reflection on your action, through showing up to class every other week, working with our wonderful teaching fellows, you've dared to ask not only what is, but what could be. You have begun, however small or bold and courageous, to build that could be. Look around you. Look at each other. Take a moment. Many people here have traveled long distances, especially Anne-Louise from Chicago. And what? Oh, and Mr. Pastor Kelly from Florida, and Shelley all the way from Rochester. Love to see Shelley here. These people here are your community. They're a gift. They're a source of strength. It's through the power of our relationships to one another that I think that's where the holiness of the Spirit lies. It can't be manufactured in an institution. It can't be manufactured from above. It lies below in our relationships. We know that ministry for social justice is not solo work, which is why we have to do it in community. One of the themes that we highlight at the Leadership Center for Social Justice is accompaniment. To minister for social justice is to accompany people in struggle. It begins with walking in the truth of who we are, the truth of what we see, and the truth of what we are called to resist and to build. And this truth often puts us at odds with the structures of society, structures that benefit from silence and compliance. But truth spoken in love and lived in community is liberating, and I think it's contagious. Some of you may know have heard of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. How many of you have heard Dietrich Bonhoeffer? There's been films made about him, many of which are not very good, I hear from scholars. But Dietrich Bonhoeffer in 1938 led what he called an underground seminary. They had to go underground. And he wrote this lecture in 1938, and he entitled it Lecture on the Path of the Young Illegal Theologians. And I've been thinking about this, I think I mentioned in class, the extent to which we are living at a time where we might be illegalized as ministers. Right? So I've been thinking about you all as illegal ministers. And he says something here about truth, though, and the living in the truth. I want to think about this together as we walk in truth, as we live in truth. What that might mean. He's addressing this question about our path. What is our path as the church in its resistance to fascism? What is the path of the confessing church, what they call the confessing church? He says, the Bible knows nothing of the pathos and problem of this question of our path. Our path follows self-evidently, plainly, and necessarily from the truth that is witnessed to. Our path, he says, does not have its own weight, its own problem, and certainly not its own particular tragic aspect. Our path is simply the doing of the truth. Here he's citing John 3:21, to do the truth, whereby the emphasis is entirely on the truth. Because we know that our path is always in need of forgiveness, the question of our path It does not need to be as important to us as the question of the truth. If we abide in truth and in truth alone, our path will be the right. So I've been thinking about that truth, the truth of the self, the truth of our voices, the truth of our collective truth that we can that comes together in relationship, and the power of living into that truth, especially in a time when there will be lots of lies, and there are lots of lies. This world offers many reasons for us to stay quiet. And yet we need to become illegal theologians like Dietrich Bonhoeffer called us to do, to become illegal ministers. And that means to speak and live the truth in love. This is your calling. It's all of our calling. I hope that everyone has an opportunity to look at how beautiful these projects are that our pastors have completed over the course of the last 9 months. They're marvelous projects of eating together, of hospitality, of justice and mercy, of extension of care, of sanctuary, of building a world in which it is easier to love. May you all keep finding your voice. May you keep walking the truth. May you believe and live into transformation, not just the transformation out there, but within yourselves. May you lead from that space of truth. Thank you so much for spending time with us these last 9 months. God bless you.
Hi, it's nice to connect with you all in this way. I'm sorry that I can't be with you. I'm still in Ireland, and at this time that you're watching this, it's going to be very, very late here, so I'm likely to be sleeping. I just want to express my gratitude for being part of this community, to all the other educators and Rai and Stella. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this incredible group of humans, the Leadership Center for Social Justice. And to the cohort that is graduating, I've also just really appreciated connecting with you all this last year on the retreat and in our sessions, and have a lot of heart and just, I don't know, just taking some kindred spirit connection from our time together. So thank you for that. And I just wanted to honor your graduation and just wish you well and what's to come, and hoping that our paths continue to intersect. I have 2 offerings for you. The first is a short song that I'm gonna sing, and I'm not a singer, but it is a song that came into my orbit in the last few months. Some friends used it in a gathering in January and shared it with me afterwards, and I was just so touched by the words, especially in this tumultuous time, and so it felt like something I wanted to offer you all. I highly encourage you to check out a real professional singer sing it. There's someone named Melanie Demore on YouTube who has the most incredible version of this song. Yeah, so here we go. And then I have a short Irish blessing for you. I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold
Who's got a song?
To hold you in love, night, hold you and heal you for you. I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter where you go, no matter where you've been, you'll never walk alone. I feel you deep within. So I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I'm sending you light to hold you in love. I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I'm sending you light to hold you in love. All right. And the other piece I wanted to offer is an Irish blessing from John O'Donohue. I think I used a blessing of his in my January session on radical imagination, but he is a poet and a writer and a spiritual leader who has transitioned, who has passed. But I find these words beautiful and I wanted to share them with you all. It's from his collection called Anamkara. And it is, here we go. May the light of your soul guide you. May the light of your soul bless the work you do with the secret love and warmth of your heart. May you see in what you do the beauty of your own soul. May the sacredness of your work bring healing, light, and renewal to those who work with you and to those who see and receive your work. May your work never weary you. May it release within you well springs of refreshment, inspiration, and excitement. May you be
Amen.
present in what you do. May you never
Amen.
become lost in the bland absences. May the day never burden. May dawn
Amen.
find you awake and alert, approaching your new day with dreams, possibilities, and promises. May evening find you gracious and fulfilled. May you go into the night blessed, sheltered, and protected. May your soul calm, console, and renew you. All right, y'all, from this land here, I just send you big congratulations, lots of joy and celebration, and thank you again for allowing me to be part of your community. Peace.
Hello, cohort. Sorry to miss out on tonight's graduation. I've been out on medical leave, caring for a family member. Happy to report that things have been going well. So yeah, just wanted to say congratulations to all of you. Please stay in touch. It is always my hope that graduation is not a goodbye, but instead a now what, and see you soon. I did want to share some quick blessings with you this evening, acknowledging that this cohort did not take place in some imaginary world. The conversations that we had were not about social justice in the abstract. For we know that injustice is not theoretical or just an academic concept, but rather injustice hurts real people in real places in real time. Therefore, we must trust that God's promises are not merely sentimental, but are also for real people in real places in real time. I believe that God is closest in the moments where often God seems farthest away. Therefore, when injustice is most present, God is also most present. And so it is my prayer that when facing injustice, may you share in the blessing of collective salvation. When facing a lack of answers, may you share in the blessing. When facing a lack of answers, may you share in the blessing of asking good questions. When facing false perfectionism, may you experience the blessings of practice, presence, and permanence. When facing the temptations of profane compliance, may you share in the blessing of sacred rebellion. When we face struggle, may we share in the blessing of hope. When we face struggle, may we share in the blessing of hope. Amen.
Well, good evening, everybody. President Marshall, distinguished teaching fellows, dear colleagues, and our dearest Dr. Reverend Rai Siglikow, and dear friends who are here. It's an honor to share with you this evening a project that is very close to my heart, a project that was born and shaped by the participation in the Cohort, a project grounded in faith and moving hopefully with hope. The project is entitled the Neighborhood Welcome Alliance, or NWA. It's a coalition that I've been curating and forming in the Lino Lakes city, just north of Shoreview, north of Minneapolis. We call it a three-ringed suburb away from the heart of the city. And I witnessed firsthand the urgency of this project because I live, serve, and have my family living there as well. The Neighborhood Welcome Alliance, its mission is to bring together residents, faith communities, local businesses, nonprofits, public institutions to foster a neighborhood rooted in belonging, mutual care, and the dignity of all people. Now, the spark for this work came from a moment of deep public exclusion. The fierce backlash that I witnessed against a proposed development which would have become Minnesota's first planned mosque-centered neighborhood, the Mackinac Lakes development. And the intense and hostile response to the proposed development by several residents laid bare the undercurrents for me of white privilege and fear that too often shape our local policy. It also opened doors for what I proclaim to be self-appointed gatekeepers to decide who gets to live in a community and who does not. The viral comments spread quickly when the development came about, and the developer came to just say hello to the city council, not even proposing a direct plan yet, but had it in mind, quickly turned into a robust, restricted, and loud commentary that the group called Slow the Grow Love Lina Lakes coalesced around. A gathering of like-minded residents who within a heartbeat, matter of 3 days, had 160 people all signed up with lawn signs spread across the city, who created a website that shared. This group, Love Lino Lakes, is for those who want Lino Lakes to stay and be as it should. A small, rural, small town community. And we're opposed, it went on to say that we're opposed to any development that will increase the spread of the growth. All right with that. However, it ended with this. Recent development that has been proposed in the city council chambers would change many of what us who love about living here in the city deem valuable. That is the quiet, rural, and open nature of Lino Lakes, which originally drew many of us here at SET. That now is under threat. Wow. Although some of us stalwart supporters of the project attended several council meetings, we were outnumbered by residents who were opposed to the plan. And within, again, another heartbeat, not one that held compassion, actually held fear, comments would be appearing on local neighborhood online areas, online streams, to the point either from this particular comment, do you really want a mosque to be the first thing folks see when they enter Lino Lakes? To statements of not wanting to open the door to terrorists. What followed again was a flurry of news articles that garnered Lino Lakes national headlines and reviews very less favorable than what City Council had hoped for. And it led many folks to look at Lino Lakes as racist and Islamic phobic. Now, the city didn't know what to do. It was overwhelmed. And so instead of taking the discernment of time to think about it and to continue to hold hearings, they, in another heartbeat, declared a 1-year moratorium on any development, which shut down now the momentum of having this beautiful mosque-centered development in our city. Now, that 1-year moratorium is almost going to be up, and it will be up in August. And the good news I have to share is that it's more than likely the mosque development team will come back. And I have it from one city council member that the turn of the table is in the favor of the maybe letting it go. But there was this big question mark, and I said, are you just saying that to make me feel good? And he said, well, I really wouldn't bet on it if you were to ask me in the press. In the press being that we still have a lot of discussion. As a community pastor, educator, former human rights commissioner, and resident of Lino Lakes currently, I knew I couldn't just look away, right? This was occurring last in the summer months, and I would pray and I would talk to people and I would just be so in awe that this could happen in a city that I had just moved to. And given this, the Neighborhood Welcome Alliance, I believe, was born out of a response to promote radical hospitality, challenge that exclusion, and hopefully model justice, not as an abstract value, but as love in action. As Ricardo Morales shared in his Praxis of Hope, another world is possible. And I sat there many a morning with my cup of coffee thinking, okay, Lord, is this on my plate now? It was. It did not leave me. I kept talking about it, but I didn't quite know, even though I may have had some time in public policy or in community or whatever my former jobs were, and even as a human rights commissioner. How was I going to bring about a city of love instead of a city of exclusion? It seemed like a really big project. And then the cohort came. And then I was a member of that. And with that in mind, that cohort experienced helped form what was to come. In the cohort, the unit on discernment guided my ministerial reflection into what in our city was life-giving. And I asked the question, and we did together, what was death dealing? The seemingly natural structure of exclusion or indifference did become unmasked as comments continued to swirl. And you could tell by the telltale signs that folks were reiterating it in coffee shops and when they would meet together. Our cohort studied discernment, and this helped me name the invisible forces at play that strengthened my resolve to respond not with mere reaction, but with thoughtful intervention. The seeds of NWA began to take a more precise shape. And this time it was grounded in a critical consciousness that called me to gain with others the idea that there is a world out there and we can imagine new possibilities in it. Our unit on committing came next. This helped me take those insights and embody them more concretely. This was not only about the structure of NWA, but also about risk. Stepping forward in faith and hope, I was convinced that if we could just get a group of people together willing to act on their values, that would be enough. But it wasn't. And it certainly became surely so as a member of the Proud Boys with the flag drove in front of my home and a few others, having known that we were doing something illegal. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens, as Margaret Mead says, can change the world. Man, did I ever hold that in big print on the refrigerator. Every time I fill my coffee with cream, there it was. And so it reminded me again of committing. This became the anthem of our group as well. Now, the project turned out to be deeply communal. It's what I call the snowball effect, and maybe you know that as well when you start something. You talk to one, two, three, and then they give you names of another, and then pretty soon you're 3, 4, 5, and that kind of snowball effect is beautiful and worthy work. And so we now have a core group of about 20, 25 folks. Thanks to everybody else who then, I would say curated our group together. Our core group continues to grow, and our mission is sharpening with each visit that we have together. Now, periodic reflection and revision is built into our practice when we gather, and this, we hope, ensures the accountability that we are most accountable to those impacted. Paulo Fiore reminds us, it is the encounter of people with the world that dialogue begins. And this dialogue is loving and humble, full of faith and hopeful, an act of creation and recreation. Well, that was exactly what we were trying to foster. Faithful, hope-filled dialogue between neighbors that would transform neighborhoods into communities of justice and care. Now, as a trauma chaplain as well, I've seen how trauma, both personal and collective, is often intensified by isolation. And when somebody comes into a community, maybe you're moving to Lino Lakes because you have a job there. We have several manufacturing companies, or because it is the best place because Auntie lives right down the street. For whatever reason, the added burden of whether you will be accepted in the midst of all the other things you're trying to make work is indeed a lot. And so isolation can turn into just going to the grocery store, keeping one's head down, and just dealing with one's own people. That is not the Lino Lakes that we had hoped for. But first, in order to create such a community, there needs to be trust. And with its already English-only policy, which the city, back about 10 years ago, put into place, where they decided that they are not going to translate any city council or public meetings in any other language other than English, that trust is not there. So where was one to find it, huh? So the group of us core people, we talked about all of this and our strategic planning, and we came together. And again, I would bring it back to our cohort, what we were doing. The idea that some of our core members have already been labeled as very progressive or disruptive, and others shared that they face resistance from their family members and neighbors, carried a bit of a burden as to whether or not we would be effective. Others who wanted to join us, young families, right, who just moved, gentleman around the corner with his family from France who came, others who came from Nicaragua, and another family that we knew who wanted to join said, but we yet have young children and we're not sure that we can even be useful. So our core group then regrouped and came up with the idea of becoming a neighborhood welcome ambassador. That shifted our view as to what being a member or being a part of the group meant. Not so much that you're attending meetings at the local library in my backyard or somebody else's necessarily, but that you are in the core of your own home, going out, meeting your new neighbors as they are coming into it with love and a welcome. That set pretty well with all of the folks that were involved. So the NWA Ambassador Program came about. Now, we've reached out to our school system, Students for Change in the Centennial School District, diverse group, have interest in becoming NWA ambassadors. They already were poised within the school system and have been doing it, of welcoming many. And so you'll see a picture on the board there. I had about 6 students that said, this is exactly what we want. That's really cool. This is really cool. And then I said, well, would you guys like to join and create and get others parents' permission? We can all meet. And they said yes. So now where I was when I first started this, right? And so kind of really downtrodden to think that how are we going to come up against a city that has a reputation that is not good in that sense of open and welcoming. All of a sudden there came new hope, new hope. The vision for what we were about to do as well was also came to me under the words of accompaniment, right? You mentioned it. Staunton Linz, being a political activist, author, and lawyer, said that even when 2 or 3 gather in the name of justice, a new world begins to emerge. And so with that, we can see it all taking shape now. Reminded by those words in the Gospel of Matthew that reassures us the work we're doing, we are not alone. Jesus says in Matthew 18:20, for where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there. Now, this promise is not just a comfort, it's a declaration that in every gathering rooted in justice, compassion, and love, Jesus is present. and he, in his presence, affirms and sustains our work, reminding us that even in the small beginning and uncertain steps yet to come, we are never without divine companionship and guidance. The rest of the units and all that we studied helped then give me structure. I had to go and I asked Anna to please give me demographic information, and Ned and all of the learned ones that we have. We got that, so now I have a compendium from the American Belief Society, thanks to Anna, on what are the top 10 concerns of folks in Anoka County and even in our neighborhoods. We're convinced that we cannot do this just out of the goodness of our heart, but we must be strategic if we think we're going to last. That I learned. The other is, we also decided that in this idea that on the website, folks who were claiming Lino as their own were not in the right. For it was the Ojibwe and the Dakota who were here first. And there is a path on County Road J that went across all the way from White Bear, all the way across over to Blaine. On County Road J was a pathway, and there have been artifacts found. With that in mind, we then decided that each and every meeting, we will make our statement honoring the original residents of our community. This has been a wonderful project. And in it, to be able to share with my cohort folks and those that were with me, I'm so very, very grateful. I'd like to close now with these words from John Powell, who writes, "There is a need for an alternative vision, a beloved community where being connected to the other is seen as the foundation of a healthy self, where the racial and radical and the divisions that come on the physical level are not allowed. But always knowing that each and every one of us contains the part of a whole. Visions must reflect our social structures, and so it is on us to make them do so, or they merely are dreams deferred. So may we, as dream keepers, keep courage in our pocket now for all of you too, and what you have going, as we act boldly and gently and lovingly. I want to again thank Dr. Bry again for the opportunity to be with all of you, learn so much. And also I want to give a shout out to Stella. And I know, Stella, we're going to miss you. Your attentive organization, your clear communication, and your constant support for us held everything together with grace and aplomb. We're grateful. We all are for you. So the Neighborhood Welcome Alliance, we'll see where we go from here. It's a good start thus far. And I now have a young woman who's willing to take it over while I do my dissertation research this summer. So we're going to hone some new leadership with it as well. Thank you again for the opportunity, folks. Thank you so much.
Bonjour, Gagagiashi Kandijnakas, Gawaba Biganikag and Dunchpa. Oh, I was busy smiling for the camera here. Hold on. Here, let's, anybody else? Oh my goodness, I apologize. Bonjour, Dinaway Maganadug, Deborah Topping, Nina Indishnakas, Nagachi Wanang and Dunchpa. I am Deborah Topping from Fond du Lac, and it is nice to be here. Yes, and I'm Everlasting Wind, and my English name is Don Goodwin, and I'm from White Earth. And we're the two stooges. Our third stooge is sitting down over there. Uh, so yes, I'm very honored to be here in front of you all. And I'm used to like sitting there and just being part of everything. And now I'm up here. I said, Deb, can you believe it? We're teaching ministers. And she's like, I know. Well, yeah, so 3 years. So this is the third year, and it's been wonderful. Um, I'm a very emotional person, so I'll try my hardest not to cry. Um, but it's been awesome. It's been wonderful to get to know all of you and all of those are online. Emmanuel. Uh, yeah, I just wish it wouldn't end. I wish we had another 9 months, but I know you all probably are done too. You probably don't want to have another 9 months, but this was your dedication shined through these last 9 months, and yeah, something that you didn't have to do, and it is a darn good thing that you all took this course because you all have your work cut out for you. As we all know, that life is not getting easier. Social structures and safety nets are becoming less, and the churches are going to be the ones to be looked at. We all know that already. Churches are um, the place you go to get that help you need spiritually. People need that help for food and finances and whatnot. So your work is cut out for y'all. And what I've learned through life as um, when you give yourself to God, to be that hollow bone, it's scary sometimes. You have your prayer and you set out with that in your mind. And it can be scary, but you have to step out of that comfort zone. And then you'll know, as you'll notice in your own walk, when you're walking in that faith, you go ahead, you do it. And the blessings that come from that. And I just had my own realization this last week. And we were putting on a pancake breakfast. And the people that I was working with, they just hold their word. But we didn't have to plan or do all this discussion. And I was just used to like over planning, making sure everything's on par and da da da. So I was kind of worried. I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're coming. I was just like, oh. But like we have been taught to do is just go in faith and in prayer. And that's what I did, was like, well, just do it. Just gotta do it. And it turned out wonderful. Everybody was there and everybody kept their word. But I hadn't necessarily worked with the people that we put this breakfast on before this. So I wasn't too sure. I was just like, Um, so with that being said, as you are embarking on on life, you're graduating, you know, your new path in life. And now you have new tools, this class. Um, I hope that I've been influential, and that is my prayer, is that just do it. Just do it. And yeah, you just have to do it. Yeah, like Nike. You just have to do it. And And don't be worried about failing, or if somebody doesn't show up, or how could we have gotten more people to show up? And what I've learned is the people that are there are the ones that are supposed to be there, and to focus on who shows up. So that being said, go out, use those tools, be the awesome ministers and counselors that you are. Miigwech. Yay. All right, I'm done posing. So this has been an incredible 9 months to meet everybody and learn what your projects are going to be, and so excited to be able to finally see them in action. Has been amazing. So thank you, Miigwech, for that. The one thing I wanted to say is risk. When you are ready to stand up for what you believe in, as you know, you will always have somebody say, "Oh, why don't you do this? How come you're not doing that? Well, I think you should do this. Oh my God, and you're only doing that?" We've all been there. Social justice. Where to even begin with that, right? Because the America has not been built on social justice at all, right? And so here we are trying to heal that. And like she was saying, we get emotional, because this is how we do it. Isn't there a song like that? So as we know, as we have all said, by building community, by reaching out, stepping out of our comfort zone, and sharing our love for one another. So with that, Miigwech, it's been an honor. Yes, Miigwech. And one last thing I wanted to close with is that we are DEI.
Let us pray. God, we thank you for allowing us a chance to gather tonight, and we thank you for this social justice cohort. Thank you for bringing all those over the highways and the byways here safely, and we pray that you help them get home. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Amen. I want to first say thank you to United Theological Seminary and President Marshall for allowing us a chance to learn more about social justice through the cohort experience. It was an absolute joy to participate. Thank you to Rye and Stella for all the reminders and the patience with us as we organized our projects and dealt with the many twists and turns of life. I honor my cohort. I honor you all because you support and accountability in the most gracious way. Again, whenever I'm in United, I got to give thanks for Dr. Damian Wheeler, who empowered me to deconstruct my theology. His statement is, if a theology cannot be deconstructed, it's not worth having. I also want to honor my father in the gospel, Pastor Kelly Chapman, who is the one who always put me on the social justice path. And I honor you tonight. I honor my wife, Christina Gillespie, who follows me, supports me, pushes me to be the best that I can be. I want to express my immense gratitude to our mentors and teachers who guided us with wisdom and unwavering support. Your dedication has been instrumental in shaping the leaders that we are becoming. Together, we have shared an incredible journey of growth, learning, and activism. Today marks a milestone in our journey as we stand on the cusp of a new chapter. Having completed the social justice leadership cohort, it's a moment filled with pride, reflection, and hopefully a renewed commitment to making a difference in our world, our community, and our churches. In Psalm 133:1, it reads, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in unity." The simple context of this verse, David emphasizes the beauty and importance of unity among God's people. It reflects a time when the Israelites were living in community and worship. The psalm celebrates harmonious relationships and collective living, highlighting that such unity is not only desirable, but also a significant aspect of the life that God desires for his followers. This verse captures the essence of our journey and my journey and the work that lies ahead. Unity is not merely the absence of conflict, but the presence of a deep, genuine connection among diverse individuals striving towards a common goal. It is about embracing our differences, respecting each other's perspectives, and finding strength in our collective aid, a more just and equitable world. I think during these last 9 months, we have become a united force. The stories and experience we have shared, the tears and the joys, we were able to share our dreams for our communities, churches, and families, and the roles we felt that we should play. In the realm of social justice, unity is a powerful source that can drive meaningful change. It calls us to collaborate across boundaries, to listen and learn from each other, and to support each other in our shared mission. And I believe we all accomplish that. Unity fosters an environment where every voice is valued and every contribution is significant. As leaders, we have the responsibility to cultivate unity in our communities and beyond. We all had projects that represented who we were in the areas that we felt passionate about. I thought about 3 words that constantly were in my head and in my heart during our time. They were awareness, advocacy, and agency. Awareness, advocacy, and agency is transformative in our efforts to drive social change. Awareness serves as the foundation, opening our eyes to injustices and inequities in our world. It ignites our passion and informs our understanding of the issues that demand our attention. Advocacy takes this awareness and channels it into action, allowing us to speak out and champion the causes we believe in. It empowers us to rally others, influence public opinion, and push for policy changes that promote fairness and justice. Finally, agency is the force that propels us forward, giving us the courage and capability to initiate change and make a tangible impact on our communities. Together, these elements create a powerful framework for leadership that equips us to tackle complex social challenges with empathy, determination, and effectiveness. As I thought about my time, I thought about the first class, Don and Deborah, when y'all had us put those 7 values. You had us say respect, wisdom, bravery, truth, honesty, humility. And you told us, you remember you told us to pull one that kind of represented us? The one I pulled that day was love. I keep these, you see them, they old and all wrinkled up now, but I keep them everywhere I go. I do that to honor you all, but I also do that to honor you all. And as I think about some of the things that impacted me, and I'm getting ready to go to my seat, three stories come up. Me, Ned, and Mary in our first time talking about our project. So Mary talked about the NWA. I said, black people getting ready to listen to that mess y'all putting up? And she said, oh my God, I never ever thought about that. We're laughing, but that day told me that, number one, a white woman could listen to a black man talking about white folks' issues. Number two, Ann Louise was talking about a particular problem in her church. And the anger that I felt, and I know preachers are not supposed to fight, but I wanted to go to Chicago. And I wanted to deal with him. I'm being very, very, we laughing, but I'm talking about unity. I'm talking about connection. I'm talking about love. Lastly, Shelley. This Pentecostal preacher found himself praying that a drag show be a success. Y'all don't understand. If y'all don't know anything about the kind of way I was raised, the legalism I dealt with, me praying for a drag show probably could be blasphemous. But that shows you the power of community. That shows you the power of getting to know somebody and learn their story. So now you're not looking at people as a label. You're looking at them as a person. And I need to tell my cohort, I love you all. And I love you all from the top to the bottom. And you can believe this. When I come to Chicago, I'm coming to see you. I'm coming. You all have a friend in me. And since we all singing today, I'm going to sing a song and go to my seat. Simple song in my church, 3 little lines. It basically said, the Jesus in me loves the Jesus in you, and the Jesus in you loves the Jesus in me. You're easy. You're easy. You're easy. You're easy to love.
Tough one to follow. But amen. I mean, so I just, gosh, I was sitting there remembering the first time that we gathered as teaching fellows. So it feels like we've had our own cohort of 3 years. And we were in a room down at the end, and we did an art activity. And I made a little bird, and I still have that little bird that looks at me. And I remember of that time. But what I think I was struck by was the ability for Rye to just say, let's try this out and bring these people together who've never met each other. And that day, it was as if we had always known each other. And we shared vulnerably about who we were, and we shared our dreams about what we hope to see. And here we are 3 years later. And Rye, thank you for dreaming that dream and bringing us together. And Stella, for always being right there, supporting this work. So congratulations to each of you. It's been a true joy to walk alongside you this year. Thank you for your gift of ministry, your openness to new ideas and deepening faith, and above all, your commitment to shaping the world in just and peaceful ways. I don't know if you recall, one of our times together, we reflected on words by Howard Thurman. And there's this line, cultivate the discipline of listening to the sound of the genuine in yourself. Pause to consider when you have heard that sound in the past 9 months. Perhaps in the contemplating your calling, perhaps in giving yourself permission to dream, perhaps in wrestling with what brings you discomfort. Or perhaps in this pausing, you hear the roar and clang of the mind's traffic. Thurman wrote about this too. There's so much traffic, so many different kinds of signals, so many vast impulses floating around you. Don't be deceived and thrown off by all the noise that are part of even your dreams and your ambitions. Through the clatter and chaos of all these distractions, the sound of the genuine flows through us like a river. And like the water flowing in rivers and through our veins, that which is genuine, that which is real and true and beautiful connects us. Listen to how Thurman weaves sacred story into this affirmation. There is in every person that which waits, 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 and listens for the sound of the genuine in herself. There is that in every person that waits and waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in other people. And when these two sounds come together, this is the music God heard when God said, "Let us make humankind in our image." Music has been the theme without us even knowing. So Emmanuel, Sarah, Heather, Daryl, Anne Louise, and that laughter and knitting. Samuel, Shelley, Desiree, and Mary. As you continue along your paths of peace and justice, tuck this blessing into the folds of your heart. May the God of hope lead you to the water's edge and wait with you there for the sound of the genuine flowing in your own life. May you hear such music, the melody of your own name spoken in love. May you feel it in your soul, the timbre of trust in what you know most to be true, the steps and rhythm of the pilgrimage you must take. May the God of compassion linger with you at the water's edge and wait with you there for the sound of the genuine flowing in the lives of others. May you hear such music, the harmony of knowing and understanding another, even as you are thoroughly known and understood. May you listen with all your soul to the chorus of life, each voice precious, enriching your own, each dissonance a doorway to real relationship. And may the God of grace quench your thirst at the water's edge and lead you forth with the sound of the genuine, resounding in the words of your mouth and the work of your hands, in the contemplation of your heart, and the movement of your limbs, in the wideness of your arms, and the wisdom of your gut, in the service of your spirit, and the ministry and the music you share with others. May it be so. Que así sea. Amen.
Wow. Right. Yeah, Stella, thank you. It's been a joy being and an honor to be a part of this cohort with an amazing team. Just thank you for that. It's also been a blessing to me to know that over these last 9 months, what has been going on in our world politically and with all of the respect, the disregard, to know that we were on this journey together and the opportunity to have a cohort, but also to be able to reflect on justice. And then just thinking about how all of this was well, for me, it was a grounding and being able to do that in community with each of you. So I'm very thankful for that. I was in a meeting, I served on a seminary board, and in the meeting last week, there was a bishop who had complained about hearing so much bad theology. And it kind of ruffled my, it ticked me off. I'm cleaning up my language right now. It bothered me. And I thought about the Bonhoeffer quote that you said about illegal theologians. And I thought about there's no such thing as bad theology. And maybe that bishop was confusing conformity with bad theology. And so it's with that I'm thankful for all of this, and also thinking about social justice is our honor to enter into the struggles that people experience in their everyday lives. It's an honor for us to enter from our worldview into their everyday experiences. And I'm reminded of a story from Scripture that also challenges me and us. And it's a story where Jesus is in a house. Maybe it wasn't a house, maybe it was a seminary, but it was full of really good people. And as they were enjoying themselves and just sharing that moment, outside of that house, there was a man who was on a mat, and he was a paralytic. And there were a couple of people that saw that man and saw that he was disconnected from that house. And they picked up that man and his mat, and they walked over to that house. And they climbed up the ladder and onto that roof. And they began to open, and they lowered that man into the house. And so when I think about your cohort, what's been shared this evening, I think about as we leave here to remember, like those men who picked up that paralytic and all the paralytics that we see every day in our lives and that we don't see, that sometimes our greatest call is to mess with the roof, to be bold and compassionate and illegal and bad theologians, and open up those places where people can be reunited with their full humanity. Thank you all for teaching me and us and all of us together.
I hope we're not actually being illegal. I know there might come a day though. So it's good to be prepared. Actually, if you all would want to come up, I'd like to have you present while we hand out these certificates. So we have, this is an official graduation ceremony. And so we have these official certificates. And I'd like you to
Become documented.
document it. That's right. The certificate is legal. And at least in our house here. Okay. So our first, Reverend Sarah Anderson. Congratulations. Yay. Say hi to them. This one is online. This beautiful man, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, could you say hello to everyone? If you're hearing us.
Hello. Yes.
Hello,
We
Emmanuel.
thank God for this. Yes, thank you. God bless you.
Emmanuel is calling from Nigeria.
Congratulations.
It's 2 a.m. The Venerable
We are
Emmanuel.
in the midnight. No.
Thank you for bending over backwards and staying up late and waking up early and navigating the time difference,
Yes.
Emmanuel. Thank you for all your hard
Thank
work.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, over there. 3 a.m.
Reverend Heather Grant. Congratulations. The Reverend Doctor, right? Daryl Ulysses Gillespie. The Reverend Anne Louise Hott. All the way from Chicago.
Yeah.
We have another person that was unable to make it. This is Oluwatosin, or Samuel, and he is currently in Virginia, serving in the military and also becoming a minister for social justice in the region. So let's congratulate Oluwatosin. Next person, Shelley Rowe. Make sure you say hello to them. I left my Bonhoeffer on the floor. Desiree. I know how to do the hug part. And Mary. Let's give a round of applause to our graduates. And Stella's name was mentioned. Stella, thank you for all of your wonderful hard work. This is a bittersweet time because this is Stella's last week, and Stella will be moving forward, moving on to new adventures. You're done. Yes, you're. But Stella's been a fantastic support, as everyone here knows, her consistency and her hospitality and her care. Here's Emmanuel. I'm going to close us with a prayer that you may have heard before from me. I think I shared this on the first day of our cohort. It's a prayer written by Rosemary Freeney Harding and Rachel Harding. Rosemary Freeney Harding was a Mennonite pastor along with her partner Vincent Harding, and they were social activists in the civil rights movement. And Vincent is most famous for having written speeches for Martin Luther King, including his famous speech Beyond Vietnam, which got King into quite a bit of trouble. This prayer is from Rosemary's co-authored book with her daughter, Rachel. It's a book called Remnants, and this is how the book begins. There is no scarcity. There is no shortage. No lack of love, of compassion, of joy in the world. There is enough. There is more than enough. Only fear and greed make us think otherwise. No one need starve. There is enough land and enough food. No one need die of thirst. There is enough water. No one need live without mercy. There is no end to grace. And we are all instruments of grace. The more we give it, the more we share it, the more we use it, the more God makes. There is no scarcity of love. There is plenty and always more. Amen. Congratulations and go in peace. And don't be a stranger. Stay connected. We will stay connected. Yes? Oh, yes. You have to come to class tomorrow anyway. But we won't let you go. We're going to be following up with you. Don't worry. Thanks for everyone for coming.